So I'm going to talk a little bit about deterring birds from going after your garden. Um, and there's a bunch of different ways to get, get towards that goal, but I'll speak specifically about what I've experimented with and what I have found works for me in my area and my neighborhood, I suppose. Um, so I actually began wanting to attract birds to my garden and soon found out that they not only enjoyed the bird feeder that I put out for them, but they also enjoyed picking at every garden bed that I had, and that's how you learn, I suppose. So I researched all sorts of different methods of trying to mitigate their impact on the garden, and it ranges from covering your raised beds with like nets and stuff, and that's kind of the nuclear option. But my beds are kind of in strange places, like up against the house, and I have like the poles in some of them, and I just didn't feel like it was the right approach for me specifically. And I am not sure about which, because the damage never happens while while I'm out here, so I don't know what species of birds is going after them. So I don't know if the approach I would be taking is the right approach. So, and there are different things like putting out pinwheels or shiny objects to scare them away, or like having a scarecrow or things like that. And it apparently works for some types of birds. And so, having that in mind, the approach that I took was just, hey, let's embrace the birds. I like the birds, but I don't feel like at this stage I want to cover all of my plants to keep them perfectly safe. So let's just give the birds what they want. Let them have the bird feeder and let them be in the garden. So what I have done is I simply moved the bird feeder to the front of the house, and I'll show you. So you can see it in the background here. That's the bird feeder. So my approach was just move it to the other side of the house to see if that works, and lo and behold, it worked. I as when I came out here, I scared off some birds. So basically what the result has been is, since I've given the birds what they want, just in a different spot, for the most part, they leave the garden alone, and I have found that there is less bird damage in my raised beds. And I still get to enjoy the birds, albeit it's in the front yard now. And when you put out a feeder, you should also make sure that you put out like a bird bath too, so they can wash themselves and get some water at the same time. And just make sure that you clean the bird bath every now and again. I'm gonna go ahead and do it right now because it looks a little ratty. But yeah, that's been my social agreement with the birds. They get their space and I get mine.